It is better to be hated for what you are than to be loved for what you are not. Profound optimism is always on the side of the tortured. Man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the courage to lose sight of the shore. Wisdom comes not from reason but from love. Believe those who are seeking the truth. Doubt those who find it. A man thinks he owns things, and it is he who is owned. Be faithful to that which exists within yourself. There are very few monsters who warrant the fear we have of them. Everything's already been said, but since nobody was listening, we have to start again. The true hypocrite is the one who ceases to perceive his deception, the one who lies with sincerity. To read a writer is for me not merely to get an idea of what he says, but to go off with him and travel in his company. The color of truth is gray. Every instant of our lives is essentially irreplaceable. You must know this in order to concentrate on life. Only those things are beautiful which are inspired by madness and written by reason. The truth is that as soon as we are no longer obliged to earn our living, we no longer know what to do with our life and recklessly squander it. Nothing is more fatal to happiness than the remembrance of happiness. Please do not understand me too quickly. Sadness is almost never anything but a form of fatigue. He who wants a rose must respect her thorn. The capacity to get free is nothing. The capacity to be free is the task. The most important things to say are those which often I did not think necessary for me to say, because they were too obvious. Only fools don't contradict themselves. Art is a collaboration between God and the artist, and the less the artist is, the better. Welcome everything that comes to you, but do not long for anything else. There are many things that seem impossible only so long as one does not attempt them. Work and struggle and never accept an evil that you can change. I can't expect others to share my virtues. It's good enough for me if they share my vices. Fear of ridicule begets the worst cowardice. Poverty makes a slave out of men. In order to eat, he will accept work that gives no pleasure. God depends on us. It is through us that God is achieved. Fish dive belly upward and rise to the surface. It's their way of falling. I exist only as a whole. My only claim is to be natural, and the pleasure I feel in an action, I take as a sign that I ought to do it. Be faithful to that which exists nowhere but in yourself, and thus make yourself indispensable. Most often people seek in life occasions for persisting in their opinions rather than for educating themselves. After much searching, I have found the thing that sets me apart, a sort of stubborn attachment to evil. Understand that the only possession of any value is life. I hated the homes, the families, all the places where man thinks to find rest. The most beaten paths are certainly the surest, but do not hope to start much game on them. Better to be silent and thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. There's no better cure for the fear of taking after one's father than not to know who he is. I looked at myself in the mirror and didn't like what I saw. I have no use for knowledge that has not been preceded by a sensation. Everyone was good at talking about day-to-day events, but no one ever looked at what motivated them. Existing is occupation enough. And who shall say how many passions and how many hostile thoughts may live together in the mind of man? The reasons that drive me to write are many, and the most important are the most secret, I think. Perhaps most of all this, to put something out of death's reach. My eyes filled with tears and I wept long and hard, unable and unwilling to stop. When a man uses a woman as a sex toy, he always tells her that she has a big soul. I prefer granting with a good grace what I know I shan't be able to prevent. She already loved me too much to see me as I was. I like life well enough to want to live it awake. The priest accepted me, I accepted the priest, so everything went off smoothly. The loveliest creations of men are persistently painful. What would be the description of happiness? It's madness to envy other people's happiness. Happiness doesn't come of the peg, it has to be made to measure. I had forgotten I was alone. I sat there, waiting for nothing, oblivious to the time. Loving yourself isn't vanity, it's sanity. One can always find hands for a work of destruction. In a world in which everyone cheats, it's the honest man who passes for a charlatan. Sin is whatever obscures the soul. Those who complimented me were those who understood me the least.